record before I forget. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate very much, Dr. Dre. Thank you so much. I nearly forgot to record this session. I did record. Okay. So for now, please just write this quickly. Not this one. Yes, just write this. Assets, expenses, and drawings increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. Okay. Now I'm scrolling to the next one. I'll come back to it if you missed it. The other groups are this one. Write them down quickly. We've got capital, liabilities, and incomes increase on the credit side and they decrease on the debit side. The direct opposite of what we learned from the previous slide. I hope you got them. Going back to the question, guys, you can also use the audio because if you send a message, it means I must go and check the message. So if you can, if you've got a question, just use the audio, no problem. I think it will work for us. Okay. Here is our question. According to this question, let's read. Remember, when you get a question, you need to make sure that you read so that you can understand what do they mean. Okay. Firstly, they say we are using periodic and perpetual. Because of time, I'm not going to explain what is perpetual and what is periodic at the moment. But when I explain the question, when I show you the question, I'm going to tell you how to apply the inventory system. So as you can see here, these are the inventory system. In other words, this system only affects inventory. And remember, inventory is the same as what? Stock. Remember, so this is the same as stock. So you can even call it stock if you want. Okay. Never mind my handwriting, guys. I'm using my mouse. Okay. So this is the same as stock. So it only affects when you record stock. So if you are not dealing with stock, don't worry. You won't have to apply the inventory. But for now, don't worry about it. Let's analyze the question. Firstly, they say draw the following columns. They want you to have the column for, what do they call the first column? They say you must have account debited, account credited. This they say is the format that they want you to do. And you must have the column for assets. You must have the column for owner's equity. You must have the column for liabilities. This is what they say you need to do. Complete the table by analyzing the transactions. What are the transactions? The following transactions. These are the transactions. Okay, we're going to analyze them. Where appropriate, show answer for the periodic inventory system and then the perpetual. Don't worry, I'm going to show you that. Can you see now? So this is what I did. I opened this. So I have the formats here. This is what they want. Can you see? This is the date, account debited. I just abbreviated here. Account credited. This is the asset. That's the abbreviation. If you see A, capital letter, just know that it's an asset. OE is the owner's equity. And L is the liability. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to draw this table for me. Okay. Please, let me give you a few seconds. Just have this table so that by the time when I record, at the same time you record with me. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'm only giving you 30 seconds to write. Like I said, this means account debited, account credited, assets or assets, owner's equity or equity, if you want to call it equity only, and then liability. So I'm going to show you how to record. Okay. Let me know if we have got the format, guys, so that we can continue. May I continue? Let me see. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Dre. Thank you so much. I'm going to continue. Perfect, Matthew. Thank you so much. Yes, let me go back to the question and we continue. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, let's go to the question and start analyzing. So these transactions are for January 2018, as you can see here. The first transaction is on the 3rd. Obviously, I know under the date. Please go and write under the date. I'm going to show you. Under the date, the first one, write the third under the date. Just write number 3. Just write 3 under the date. But now we need to analyze this transaction. Okay, so we need to analyze this transaction. Now, they say the owner contributes cash of 100,000. So now I will do this. They say the owner contributed cash. Now, it means if I check here, I have got cash. Can you see that? And they say who contributed that cash is the owner. So this thing will help me a lot. This thing will help me a lot because the first thing that I want you to know, you must know that anything that has been contributed by the owner, anything, it doesn't matter what did the owner contribute. If the owner contributed cash, he contributed equipment, he contributed anything to the business, the fact is that thing is going to be analyzed or classified as capital, meaning I'm analyzing now. My first account is going to be capital. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'm identifying the account. So my first account is going to be capital. Remember, I'm not recording, I'm just analyzing. So the minute you see a transaction that says the owner contributed, just know that one account will always be there. The one account will be always capital. Okay? Now, after putting capital, you must ask yourself, what did the owner contribute? Can you see the owner contributed cash? So because the owner brought cash, it means the other account will be what we call bank. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say here. So I'm analyzing. I'm trying to, let me just put it at the bottom here. Yes, I'm just analyzing the capital and bank. Guys, are you all following? Are you all following? So I want you to understand, how did I come up with the accounts? Are you all following, guys? Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, after doing this, remember, I'm just showing you the technique, because if you can get the technique right, I'm telling you, I always call this technique Sylvester's technique, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, after having the accounts, remember when I was I gave you some rules. Can you see? We've got groups. We've got this. So I must check, out of these groups, where do those accounts fall? Are those accounts assets? Are those accounts liabilities? Are those accounts equities? Are those accounts incomes? Are those accounts expenses? So I need to go and check those accounts. Let me ask you a question. What do you think is capital to us? Where does it fall? Who can tell me? How can you classify capital? Where does it fall? Just try. Remember, no one is perfect. Just write it down on the chat. Dr. D said equity. Let me wait for others. Maybe they can support you. Okay, no one supports you. It means, yes, Matthew, you are correct. Dr. D, Matthew, you are correct. So I'm going to go back and write, it is OE. Can you see now? So let me change the color so that I can make it different. Can you see? I'm going to call it, I'm going to just say it is what? OE. Let me just put a red one. Can you see now? So who can tell me what is bank to me? Where does it fall? Please write it down for me. What is bank to us? Where does it fall? Dr. Dre said asset. Let's see others. Thank you, Matthew. It's an asset. Okay. So thank you, Nolazi. It's an asset. So I'm going to go to the question, and next to it, I'm just going to put A. But you can put in, remember, you're not recording, you're just analyzing so that by the time when you record, everything makes sense. Can you see that? This is what I need to do first. After classifying, let's see. Let me change the color again. After classifying this, we need to check whether they are increasing or decreasing. Who can tell me? Is the capital increasing or decreasing? And what about the bank? Is the capital or owner's equity increasing? Let me see on the chat. Okay, no one is answering. So it means, yes, the assets are increasing. I agree with you, Dr. Dre. And then what about the capital? Yes, I agree with you. Let me write here. The assets are increasing. What about the owner's equity? The owner brought capital to the business. What happens to the capital of the business? Will it increase or decrease? Yes, you are correct. No, it is also increasing. Can you see now? This will help me a lot, guys. Telling you will never go wrong. So you just have to analyze like that. Don't be in hurry. Step by step we go. So after knowing this, can you see now? It is easy for you to go to the rules. Let's start with capital. Remember when I gave you that box where I've got rules, there's a box where we have got capital. So we need to go to that box and check capital. And we said capital is increasing, so we must go and check. So when I go and check the rules, where is capital? Capital is here. And we said capital is increasing. So it means the arrow that goes up is here. So meaning I'm going to record capital on the credit side. Can you see? I'm controlled by what I wrote. So the fact that the capital is increasing, the arrow is going up. So it means I'm going to record it on the credit side. So I'm going to go back. Let's say capital, I'm going to record on the credit side. Can you see? Very easy. So, for example, if I don't know what will I do to the bank, obviously it's obvious. In accounting, if you credit one account, the other account must be debited. Obviously, I know the answer for bank because bank will be debited because capital has been credited. But in that way, it doesn't mean that I understand. But I must use the same technique which I used for capital. Bank is an asset, and we said the asset is increasing. Okay, let's go and check assets and check where the assets increase. So I must go to the assets. Where's the box? Is that box. Can you see asset is here? And we said the asset is increasing. The arrow that goes up is here. It means I'm going to record them on the debit side. So I'm going to go and say, I'm going to debit. Guys, are you following? Do you think that my technique works? Let me know. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. So now, after analyzing these guys, I'm ready to record. I know, remember, we had columns. Okay, I'm going to go to the column. Remember, the date is the 3rd. But remember, the columns that I have, I need to decide which one is debited. Already I know. So it means under capital will be put under credit. Bank will be put under what? Debit. Let me go there. 3rd. Can you see? That is the 3rd. I have to debit bank. I have to credit capital. Can you see now? Easy, as you can see. This is easy like VC, as you can see, if you understand what I'm telling you. So it means for you to come here, can you see, you cannot have guesswork here. You need to be sure about your things. So I'm controlled by what I analyzed here. These analyses are very much important to me. I must make sure that I analyze first. After doing that, I must go back to my solution. Can you see here? Now I ask myself a question. Bank, as you can see, bank here. Bank is an asset. It means I'm going to record it under assets. Capital is an owner's equity, meaning I'm going to record under owner's equity. So it means under liabilities, I don't have liabilities. I must put 0 so that I cannot make a mistake of coming here. You can either put 0, you can either put dash, it's up to you, or you can even write nil if you want. So it means the reason why I'm going to affect assets and owner's equity is because I've got bank, which is an asset. I've got capital, which is owner's equity. Now I must go back to my analysis and check. We said owner's equities are increasing, meaning I must go and increase owner's equity. We said assets are increasing, it means we must go and increase assets. Remember the amount is how much? The amount is 100,000. So I need to go back. And under assets, we said increase. I'm going to say plus 100,000. Can you see that? And then we said also the owner's equities are increasing. I'm going to say plus 100,000. Please talk to me if you are lost. Can you see how easy is that if you analyze first? So always make sure that you analyze. Talk to me, guys, if you're lost. Are we all okay? Can we try the next one? Thank you very much. I'm going to go to the next one. Remember, I'm not going to do, because of time, I'm not going to do all the questions, but others you can do them and send them to me and I can mark you. I don't mind. Okay. So the next one that we need to deal with now is going to be the rent. On the 7th, obviously, because you've got the format, write the 7 already under your date column. Just write the 7th. Okay. Now, what happened on the 7th? We paid rent. Remember, these books are our books. So we paid rent. So we must do the same thing that we did. So who can tell me what two accounts do you see here under on the 7th? Which accounts can we identify here? Please try on the chat. Tell me which account. There must be two of them. Tell me which account do you see here? Which account do you see? I'm going to wait for you so that you can try. Nolas said rent and bank. Yes, Dr. Dre, you are correct. Nolas, you are correct. So I'm going to say rent and bank. I prefer us to be very specific because we are paying this rent. I want you to just say rent expense or rent paid. Let me call it rent paid because sometimes you can receive rent, but you can also call it rent expense. Okay? And then you also said bank. Please, same procedure. Let's decide. Please just write on the chat and tell me which one is increasing under which side, which one is decreasing under which side. So just tell me on the chat. Let's see. If it's wrong, I will explain. So tell me, choose any one that you need, any account that you prefer, and tell me this one increase, this one decrease. Rent increase, and then bank decrease. I like that. I like that. I like that. You are correct. So bank will decrease. Obviously, you are taking money from the bank. That's why you say bank will decrease. And then the expenses will increase. Yes. Please, anyone who is lost so that we can help. Now, let's go and check the rules. Who can tell me? Under which side will we put rent paid and under which side will we put bank? Okay, Dre, the reason why we say, can you see, don't look at like an account. So it's, for example, let's say you are coming to school, to Varsity College. You pay, let's say, for example, you pay for transport, you pay 500. And thereafter, when you are at school, you buy food for 200. Can you see the expenses for the day went up by 700? You must look at it like that. So this means that if I pay rent now, my rent expense will increase. If I pay again tomorrow, I'm going to increase rent expense. I don't know whether you understand me or not. So I'm just talking about rent expense only. Don't think like you are paying rent expense, now you own nothing. Does that make sense, Dre? Thank you. So rent, you said I must debit rent. Definitely. And obviously, I'm going to credit bank. Okay. So please, if you are lost, guys, let me know. And then I'm going to go there. The date is the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to have rent paid. And I'm going to have bank. I hope everyone is following. Now, my question is, which column will I affect here? if I go back, we have got assets, we have got owner's equity, we have got liability. Am I going to affect all the columns here, or am I going to affect 2 of them? So just tell me which columns will I affect and which one will I not affect? Help me with that. Which columns do you think I will affect? Will I affect assets? Reset assets? I agree because we've got assets. Knowledge set assets only. Any other comment from other members? Okay, let me go back and explain. You are correct, Matthew. You are correct. Matthew is correct. Of course, I want to write this thing down. Okay, bank is obvious affects assets, but rent is an expense. Remember, write this thing down. Write this thing down, guys. I'm giving you 5 seconds to be ready. Owner's equity is affected by the following. Write it down. So when you see the following, just know that you are going to affect owner's equity. Write them down. I can also write them down here. Let's see if I can fit them. I'm going to write them down here. I can't squeeze them here. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to write them here now. So owner's equity is affected by the following. If you see capital, you see drawings, you see incomes and expenses. Just know that these things affect owner's equity. You must know that. Remember, capital is an owner's equity. That's why it affects owner's equity. Drawings, again, is a negative owner's equity. But incomes and expenses also affect what? Owner's equity. So the reason why we said we are going to affect owner's equity is the fact that rent expense is an expense, and expenses affect owner's equity. Thank you, Nolwazi. I appreciate. Thank you so much, Dr. Dre. I appreciate. So that's why if we cannot understand that, you will ask yourself, I don't have owner's equity. I don't have liability. But what will I affect? I understand why Nolwazi said I must affect assets only because you saw an asset here. But now you know, when you see drawings, when you see incomes, when you see expenses, just know that you are going to affect owner's equity. But the question is, which ones of these items affect owner's equity positively? Who can tell me, out of these things that I wrote here, which one do you think affect owner's equity positively, and which ones do you think affect owner's equity negatively? Just try. No one is perfect, I know. No, I'm talking about the things that I wrote on top here. Capital, drawings, incomes, expenses. Just talk about the group. So out of these 4 things that I gave you, which ones affect owner's equity negatively and which one affects owner's equity positively? But I do agree with you, Dr. Dre. You are correct. Okay, Matthew said incomes and capital. I agree with you. Incomes and capital affect owner's equity positively, but expenses and drawings will always affect owner's equity negatively. Please write them down. Write them down. I'm going to repeat. Yes, they are always negative. But remember, liabilities are not owner's equities, but they do affect the business negatively. Yes, I agree with you. They do affect the business negatively. Perfect. Any questions, guys, before I continue? Okay, I'm going to continue now. Now, it means, who can tell me, how will I affect you said I'm going to affect assets and owner's equity, meaning I'm going to put 0 under what? Liability, so that I cannot make a mistake. So how will I affect assets? Will I minus? How will I affect owner's equity? Please help me. I can see Nolas is struggling with the Wi-Fi, with the network there. So hopefully she's back. Please help me. Under assets, how will I record? Must I put a minus or a plus? Under owner's equity, must I put a minus or a plus? Minus under Dr. Drew, you said minus under what? Under assets, I think you said minus. Okay, I'm gonna say how much is the amount? Let's see. The amount was 10,000. I'm gonna have minus 10,000. Thank you so much. And then let me try to do this minus, and then let me see the message. I want to check the messages. Minus, perfect. You are correct. Thank you so much. Please talk to me if you're lost. Remember, no one is perfect. This is a lesson. We all learning here. I'm also learning from you. Okay. So that was number 7. Okay. That was number 7. Let's see, because I don't want to do all the questions, guys. Some of them I must leave. I must just leave them with, so that, you know, because of time, because you must do them independently. So I just, okay, please just choose the out from on the 11th to the 30th. Please choose the one that you want me to do. Let me just give you that platform. Just check which one do you think we can do. Okay, let me see. The 21st. Okay, let me do the 21st. I'm going to do the 21st. Okay, thank you. When we check the 21st here, I want us to analyze. Let me see. Let me just change the color here. So on the 21st, they say sales. Guys, the minute you see the word sales, it means you sold inventory. I repeat. If you say sales, just know that you sold inventory. Are we together? So just know that we are selling inventory. No other thing, only inventory. So we sold inventory on credit. This will affect us. And we sold it to what? A penny. For how much? For 3,000. But the goods which we sold, the inventory that we sold, was bought, we bought it before for how much? The cost price is how much? 1,500. So remember, when you are dealing with inventory, remember when I started top there, they said we are using periodic and perpetual. So I'm going to show you how to record this inventory under perpetual, and at the same time, I'm going to show you how to record this according to periodic. But I'm going to start with the periodic first. Okay, so I'm going to show you the periodic one. Okay, according to the periodic. Okay, let me do this. Yes, now I'm trying to find the space. Now, firstly, we need to identify the accounts as you can see them here. Firstly, because I'm selling inventory, the first account is going to be sales. You see, that's easy like that. So you just have to have sales. That's the first account. The second account, if you sell, you must always ask yourself, how did you sell? In this case, we sold on credit to A Perry. It means A Perry is our debtor. So meaning the other account will be debtor or debtor's control. And debtor's control, some of you can call it, is the same as what you call accounts receivable. It's up to you. You can call it account receivables, and or you can call it debtors control. Or you can also say in brackets the name of the person, the A Perry. You can also write A Perry. They do allow you to do that. So it's up to you if you want to do that. I hope everyone is following. Okay. So remember, here is when I'm dealing with periodic. Let me write it down here so that you can see that I'm dealing with a periodic system. It's when you are dealing with periodic. I'm showing you the periodic system. Because in the exam, they can choose whatever system they want. So I'm showing you the periodic system. Let me change my system. I'm showing you the periodic system. Okay, so I'm showing you the periodic. So I'm showing you the two accounts are sales and debtors. Okay, so now who can tell me? Let's classify. I think now you know what I mean. So what are the sales and what are debtors control? I'm gonna wait for you. You tell me what do you think are my sales, where do they fall, and where do debtors control fall? I agree with you, Dr. Dre. Please, others help. What will be the debtors? I'm going to write incomes. Okay, what about debtors control? Let's see if someone tried. No one told me about debtors control. Let me tell you. I believe that if you keep quiet, you don't understand it. So it's going to be an asset. So because of space, guys, I'm just going to cancel this because obviously I showed you that you can call it that. Let me just erase this so that I can have enough space. And then I'm going to have an asset. Please tell me whether the incomes are increasing or the assets are increasing or decreasing. Please help me. Help me, please. Let's see what you said. Incomes increase. Yeah, both increase. Thank you so much. They both increase. I like that. So now you can go and check the boxes and tell me under which side must I record. Where will I record incomes and where will I record assets? I'll wait. Where will I record incomes? Where will I record assets? Either debit or credit. So please help me. Check the rules. Remember the rules that I gave you. Let's see. Credit income, yes. Credit income. I'm gonna credit income because incomes increase on the credit side. And obviously, I'm gonna debit what? The assets. So if you don't understand, guys, just ask me. Can you see? So I'm showing you the periodic for now. So I'm gonna go there. What is the date? Let's see. The date is the 21st. I'm gonna write the 21st. Remember, I'm just showing you. And then we said the account. So I'm showing you the periodic one. Let me just say, yeah, but you understand that it's periodic. So we debited debtors control or accounts receivable is up to you, and we credited sales. Who can tell me which columns are we going to affect between the three, between the assets, the owner's equities, and the liabilities? Please help me. Remember, this is the periodic. I'm showing you the periodic. Okay. So for now, I'm showing you the periodic, guys. Let me just do it like this. So I'm showing you how to deal with the periodic. Let me see someone, I think you sent the message. We affect assets and owner's equity. Thank you so much. But how will I affect them? Plus, minus, plus, minus, minus, plus, tell me. So obviously I'm gonna put 0 here because there's no liability. Can you see there's no liability? Yes, I agree. We're gonna affect assets and owner's equity. Remember, we affect owner's equity because of sales, because sales are incomes. Remember that. Yes. So tell me whether I must have plus or minus. I don't know. I will wait. Thank you. Let me see. Plus, plus. Thank you very much. Plus, how much is the amount? Remember, we need to be careful here. We are dealing with the sale, so we must look at the selling price. This is the selling price that I'm talking about. Okay. This is the selling price. I'm recording this one. Selling price, not cost price. Remember, this is the sale, so I must take the selling price. So I must go and put plus 3,000 plus 3,000. Can you see? That's easy like that, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that. Remember, under periodic, we only show sales. Can you see here? Remember, here we have got sales. They also gave us cost of sales or cost price. So under periodic, the periodic system says when you are selling, you don't have to record cost of sales for every sale that you make. You can only calculate cost of sales at the end of the period for all the sales together. Remember, we are not yet at the end of the period. So it means we only have to record sales for now. The cost of sales can only be calculated at the end of the period. That's why I can only show sales and debtors. So now I'm going to show you what if it was perpetual. But before I can go there, guys, can I give you a break for 10 minutes? Let me see on the chat. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Please go and drink water. I'm going to go and drink some water. And then please, let's meet again at 4 o'clock. Okay. Thank you so much for that, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you later.